Hello everyone. In this video, we are going to cover the fourth unit of NCERT Geography, Class 7, that is Air. So, let's get started. Our Earth is surrounded by a blanket of air, and we call this atmosphere. Every living being is dependent on Earth's atmosphere. For example, the oxygen we breathe is from atmosphere. Likewise, plants need carbon dioxide to breathe. Again, it is from atmosphere. Also, air protects us from harmful sun rays. Without air, we would have baked alive during day and we would have frozen during night due to extreme chillness. So, air is the one that maintains the Earth's temperature. Now, let's see the composition in Earth's atmosphere. Our atmosphere is a mixture of many gases. Also, it has many tiny dust particles. This graph shows you the percentage of each gas that is present in the atmosphere. Air has 78% of nitrogen, and this gas comprises the highest composition in atmosphere. Plants need nitrogen for their survival. However, they can't intake them directly. Bacteria that live on roots of certain plants take it from air and converts it in a form where plants can intake. Second most abundant gas is oxygen. Both humans and animals consume oxygen for breathing. At the time of photosynthesis process, plants produce the oxygen that we inhale. Photosynthesis is a scientific process by which plants prepare its own food with the help of sunlight, carbon dioxide, and water. Next comes carbon dioxide. It's an other important gas. We exhale carbon dioxide, whereas plants inhale them. The amount we exhale is equal to the amount of carbon dioxide that plant needs. It makes a perfect balance. Also, carbon dioxide that is present in the atmosphere makes a greenhouse effect. Greenhouse effect is nothing but it traps the heat that is radiated from Earth, thus keeping the Earth warm. Otherwise, it would be too cold where we can't survive. However, the balance in the carbon dioxide gets disturbed due to increasing pollution that are from factories and vehicles. We know that carbon dioxide is the one that traps the heat. The more the carbon dioxide in air, the more heat it can trap. This results in the rising of Earth's temperature, and we name this global warming. There are 5 layers in atmosphere, and we have already seen this in earlier class. Now let's see what we have in each layer. The first layer is troposphere. It's the most important of all, and the air we breathe is from this layer. And this layer extends up to 13 km. Most of the weather phenomena like rain, fog, cloud formation, etc. occur here. Next comes stratosphere. It extends up to 50 km. It is free from clouds and weather phenomena. So it is ideal for aeroplane flying. Stratosphere has an ozone gas layer, and this protects us from harmful sun rays. Next comes mesosphere. It's a middle layer and it extends up to 80 km. When meteoroids enter the Earth from space, they almost get burnt in this layer. Next comes thermosphere. Here, temperature rises slowly and it varies from height to height. Ionosphere is a part of this layer. And thermosphere extends between 80 to 400 km, and also this is where radio transmissions take place. That is, radio waves transmitted from Earth are reflected back to Earth by this layer. And last comes exosphere. It's the uppermost layer of all. It has a very thin air and it comprises many light gases like hydrogen and helium. The gases that escape from here float into space. Next, we are going to see about the difference in weather and climate. We often get confused with climate and weather. Sometimes we even think they are same, but they are not. Weather is a short-term condition or a day-to-day condition of atmosphere. For example, the day is hot and humid. Whereas climate is said to be the average of weather that was extended over a longer period of any particular location or a region. On news channels, you would have seen the newsreader telling about weather conditions of the day. They talk about humidity, rainfall, temperature, etc. But do you know what these terms are and how they get measured? A temperature is nothing but a degree of hotness or coldness in air, and it varies from place to place. Temperature not only changes between day and night, but also between season to season. For example, summer is hot, whereas winter is cold. You would have noticed temperature in cities are higher than in rural area. Because city has concrete and metal buildings, also has a road made of asphalt. It's a filler used to construct roads. These materials absorb heat during day and they release them during night. This leads to the rise in temperature. A very important factor that influences the distribution of temperature is insolation. Insolation is nothing but an incoming solar radiation from sun. Earth's tropical region receives the maximum insolation and they gradually decreases towards pole. We know sun is very vigorous and hot, but Earth receives only one part of sun's energy, as it is far in distance and small in size when compared to sun. And one of the aspects that influences the amount of insolation received is the inclination of sun rays. Sun rays fall directly on tropical region, so insolation is higher there. Whereas the sun rays are slanting towards poles, so there is a fall in insolation level. Because of this fact, the poles are covered with snow. These are weather instruments through which we measure the weather phenomenon. The first one is thermometer, and with this we can measure the temperature. It's measured in degrees Celsius. As it was invented by Anders Celsius, the name was given. Also remember, on Celsius scale, water freezes at 0 degree and boils at 100 degrees Celsius. Next come barometer. It's an instrument that is used to measure the air pressure. Third is rain gauge. The name says it all. It's used to measure the rainfall. And the last come wind vane. It is used to know the direction of wind. The next topic is air pressure. The air that surrounds us presses us with great force. However, we don't feel that as our body applies a counter pressure. Air pressure is nothing but a weight of air of Earth's surface. We have studied about layers in atmosphere. From sea level, if we go higher and higher, the air pressure declines rapidly. That is, the air pressure is highest in sea level and it decreases with height. Do you know how air circulation takes place? When air gets heated, it expands. They become light and it goes up. Cold air is dense and they sink down. When hot air rises, cold air from nearby area, they rush in and fill up the region. Also, the distribution of air pressure is influenced by the temperature of air at any given place. In areas where the temperature is high, air gets heated and they rise. This makes a low pressure area as you see in image 2. Here, the surface has high temperature, so air get warmer and they rise, forming a low pressure area. That led to a cloudy sky and rainfall. Likewise, if an area has a low temperature, air should be cold there. And we know cold air is dense and heavy. Due to its heaviness, it sinks and it forms a high pressure area. High pressure areas have a clear and sunny sky as you see on image 3. And do you know, our moon has no air and therefore there is no air pressure. That is why astronauts carry life supporting systems for breathing. If they didn't wear life supporting suit, the counter pressure that is exerted from the body of astronaut would make the blood vessels to burst, which makes them to bleed. Air always move from high pressure area to low pressure area, and the moving air is called wind. A wind has a power to blow a leaf gently. Also, it can uproot a tree during a storm. There are three types in wind. They are permanent wind, seasonal wind, and local wind. The permanent wind is also said as a trade wind. There are two types in it. They are easterly and westerly. They blow in a constant direction throughout the year. Next comes seasonal wind. These winds change their direction according to seasons. Indian monsoon are of this type. And the third one is local wind. They are influenced by local geography, for example, sea breeze and land breeze. The other example can be the hot and dry winds of Indian northern plain. They are called Lu. This is the pressure belt of world. Here you can see the directions of wind around the globe. A massive cyclone occurred in the state of Odisha in the year 1999. Odisha is located on the eastern sea coast of India, and state is more prone to cyclones that originate from Bay of Bengal. In 1999, two major cyclones hit the state back to back, and it collapsed the state to a very large extent. The damage was extensive due to three major factors. One is wind velocity, other one is rainfall, and the third one is tidal surge. Wind blew at a speed of 260 km per hour. Its high velocity uprooted many trees and also damaged many kacha houses. Kacha house is a simple house. It is made up of materials like mud, clay, dry leaves, etc. Due to heavy rainfall, there was flooding on many rivers in Odisha. Also, cyclonic winds caused tidal waves and it came inland up to 20 km, and coastal areas were severely affected. A 10-meter high tidal surge suddenly intruded and it caused massive damage to the crops. Tidal surge is nothing but a tidal wave. It's an unusual rise in seawater level that occur at the time of storm. And do you know where these all started? The cyclone originated as a depression in Gulf of Thailand, which is in the east of Port Blair. Slowly, it started moving in northwest direction. Meanwhile, its intensity became severe and it became a super cyclone. It hit the area of Erasama and Balikuda in the state of Odisha. Entire coastal region were affected, including the cities of Bhubaneswar and Cuttack. Around 13 million people were affected and many livestock lost its life and crops were damaged. Salination, which was created by the tidal surge on the coastal area, made the agricultural land infertile. Also, mangrove forest in between the area of Paradeep in Jagatsinghpur district and Konark of Puri district were vanished as well. The next thing we are going to see is presence of moisture in air. When water evaporates from land and water bodies, they become water vapor. Presence of moisture in air at any given time is called humidity. When air is full of water vapor, we can call that day as humid day. When air gets warm, it can hold more water vapor and it makes the day more humid. During a humid day, we feel hot and sticky and sweat doesn't evaporate quickly, making us uncomfortable. When water vapor rises, it cools off and it condenses. Condensation is a process through which gases changes into a liquid. Here, water vapor is a gas and it gets converted into water droplets. Clouds are the masses of such water droplets. Once they become so heavy to float, they fall down as precipitation, that is, rainfall. And rainfall are of three types. They are cyclonic rainfall, relief rainfall, and conventional rainfall. Other forms of precipitation are snow, hail, and sleet. Most of the groundwater are coming from rain. Thus, we have come to an end. Hope the lesson is useful and thank you so much for watching this video. Please do give a thumbs up, also share and subscribe our channel for more content.